So you guys wanted to know what I eat. Okay, now with all seriousness, let's talk about my diet because that's what you guys have been asking for. You asked me to dive a little bit deeper into it because last time I shared with you that I do intermittent fasting. So let me do a little recap first. So I shared with you that I started intermittent fasting because I'm really interested in the health benefits, and specifically I'm interested in the autophagy. The autophagy is the body's natural ability to detox, because as we get older, our bodies produce and accumulate damaged cells and damaged proteins. And as these damaged cells and proteins accumulate in our bodies and our body loses the ability to trigger the autophagy as we get older, it causes all kinds of diseases and illnesses, and it also causes us to age faster. So what we can do is that we can trigger the autophagy. And the way we can trigger the autophagy is with fasting or longer periods of not eating. When it comes to intermittent fasting, there is a lot of information out there, and a lot of it can be confusing and overwhelming, but at the end of the day, you just have to pick and choose what resonates with you. And you also have to give it a shot, because that's the only way to find out if the particular lifestyle or diet works for you, because there is such a thing as bioindividuality. Bioindividuality means that some foods and some diets and lifestyles that work for this group of people may not work for this group of people. And you just won't know which group do you belong to unless you give it a shot, unless you try what really works for you. So my advice for you is this: watch this video, get curious, and give it a shot if it's something that you really want to try. Just keep in mind that this is not about finding the best diet and lifestyle for me. This is about finding the best diet and lifestyle for you. So feel free to even pick bits and pieces of this information and create your own rules, create your own lifestyle and diet, because you don't want to feel like you're in shackles, that you are restricted by your diet and lifestyle. You want to feel like you are the one who's making these rules, that you are in charge, that you are making conscious choices every single day or every time you eat. And so that said, what resonated with me the most is a book that was recently published and written by Dave Asprey, the father of biohacking and the guy who invented Bulletproof Coffee and the entire Bulletproof brand. And so I have definitely borrowed some of the tools and some of the advice from the book that I'm gonna share with you today. So let me start with the basics. First of all, do you have any idea how happy I was to find out that when you're doing the intermittent fasting, I'm doing the 16-8, 16 hours of not eating, 8 hours of eating, that you don't have to be starving yourself, that you don't have to be even hungry, and that you can have and enjoy one of the best, most amazing beverages out there, the Bulletproof Coffee, the creamiest, best latte that you will ever have. I was so happy to find that out, because apparently the fats, the little bit of fats in that coffee gets a total pass and will not break your fast, and it will not disrupt the autophagy. The science shows that. And apparently there are people who believe that when you're fasting, you should be fasting completely and not have anything but water. However, if the science is clearly showing us that even after you drink the Bulletproof Coffee, the body is still acting and still thinking that you are intermittent fasting, and the autophagy is still happening, then why should I be hungry? Why exactly should I be starving myself and, be uncomfortable? I just don't see the point in it, and I'm very happy that I found this via that amazing book. So I drink my Bulletproof Coffee. I drink decaf coffee, and here's one interesting fact that I want to tell you about, and especially about the benefit that I get from this way of eating so far. Are you ready for this? This is huge, at least for me. So I'm gonna try to make this story short. I used to drink Bulletproof Coffee years ago when I was doing keto a lot, and I used to really enjoy it because I had a lot of energy from it and I was really lean, all that stuff. But then I had to stop drinking coffee, or I decided to stop drinking coffee because I was convinced that it was causing bladder issues for me, because I would wake up throughout the night 5 times to go to the bathroom because I had this urge to pee. It wasn't because I would drink a bunch of water before I would go to bed. No, it was just like this urge to go to pee. And then I would have to, throughout the day, I would go to pee so many times. Like, it wasn't normal, definitely, right? So I decided I'm gonna quit drinking coffee. I think it's the caffeine in the coffee, all that stuff, because that's a bladder irritant. It can cause these kind of issues. And then after that, when I quit the coffee, it got a little bit better. I definitely did notice a difference. However, you know, over the years, it started to worsen again. So then I was convinced, okay, it's not the caffeine because I don't drink caffeine anymore. And so I was convinced that it has something to do with my pelvic floor muscles, that my pelvic floor muscles must be really weak, and that's why it's happening. So I've actually done my research, and I have created an entire entire video on pelvic floor, how to fix it, how to exercise, all that stuff. I posted it in the Z Gym. It's in the Z Gym for you guys. So anyways, I've been working on my pelvic floor muscles, all that stuff, and I may have felt some improvement, definitely felt some improvement there, but it didn't fix the thing. And lately, in the past, I would say 6 months, I really suffered from this, because I would start to wake up really like 5, maybe even 6 times a night. That's a lot to go to pee. So then I started doing this intermittent fasting. Just a few months ago, I started doing the intermittent fasting, and I swear to you, it got fixed. It's like this issue with the bladder, it's gone. I sleep throughout the night. Sometimes I don't go at all to the bathroom until the morning. Sometimes I go just once, which is still normal, and it's just gone. So I feel that it was probably maybe some kind of inflammation that was going on there, that was irritating the bladder. That's how I feel. Another major thing that has improved for me, and mind you, I'm not trying to make any claims here that this diet is the end all be all and that it's the cure for everything. I'm just sharing with you what has been happening with me and what I feel like it's worth mentioning. So the other thing that has improved is my eyesight. I started noticing that my eyesight is not as good anymore as it used to be, because I started doing this when I would read labels. I started doing this, you know, like zooming in and out. I couldn't read the fine print, and it was like about 1.5 years ago, I went to get my new driver's license, and I couldn't read all of those letters that they made me to read at the DMV. And I was devastated because I always had perfect eyesight. I had really great eyesight, you know, my entire life. So to not be able to read those letters, that was just crushing for me. And I started to feel like, okay, so this is it. This is what aging is about. This is aging. Like, I'm aging now. I'm really noticing that I'm aging because my eyesight is not there anymore. You know, so if that ever happened to you, you know how that feels. It doesn't feel good at all. So I just thought that that's what it is. It's never gonna get improved. When I started doing this intermittent fasting and following this diet, my eyesight got better, and now I have no issues with my eyesight anymore. I can read the fine prints. I can see far, I can see close. It's like it got fixed. I didn't change anything else besides the diet, you know. And again, it may not be that. Who knows what else is going on with me, or you know, with my aura or something. I don't know. But I'm just saying, it's weird that the moment I started following this diet, started doing the intermittent fasting almost on a daily basis, these two major things that really bothered me are no longer bothering me anymore. Okay, so what goes into the Bulletproof coffee? First of all, unsalted grass-fed butter. It's really important that it's grass-fed, that it's not the industrial raised type of butter, because then it can cause inflammation in your body. You want those good nutrients, you want those good fats. So grass-fed butter, and make sure that it's unsalted, not salted, because that would just be gross. Then you want MCT oil. There are all kinds of brands of MCT oil. I'm currently using this one, and I only put about half a tablespoon of each into the coffee. It doesn't have to be a lot. It's just enough so that you're not hungry, so that you're comfortable, and so that you can enjoy your beverage in the morning instead of breakfast. So I don't eat breakfast, I just have the Bulletproof coffee. Sometimes I have 2 cups of the Bulletproof coffee, and typically I don't eat until noon. Sometimes it's until 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. and on some days when I'm like really busy and I don't even think about food, I won't eat until 3 to 4 p.m. So it really varies depending on what I'm doing. But I always try to not eat for at least those 16 hours. But it's not every single day of the week or of the month. There are days where I don't do the intermittent fasting at all, especially if we're being social, like if I go for a breakfast or for a brunch with the family, then I'm not going to be sitting there and be like, oh, I'm doing intermittent fasting. I don't do that. So I just totally have breakfast and everything's fine. And then I pick it up the next day again. And I feel like it's good for my body to like show my body that, you know, there is going to be variety. There are going to be days when I'm going to be eating, some days then I'm not going to be eating. So I think it's good to surprise your body with variety and cycling the diet a little bit. So I'm sure you guys are wondering what types of foods I eat on this diet. So I've been on a low carb diet for a really long time, for about a decade now, because it's the diet that makes me feel the best. I ditched sugar. I don't eat sugar at all. I don't eat processed foods, like packaged foods and stuff. I really avoid that kind of stuff. I don't eat bread. I don't eat pasta or pizza or even rice and things like that. I'm not saying that I never eat it, because there are occasions where I just eat it, but I don't eat it on a regular basis. Most of the time, I prefer to eat low carb foods, like a lot of veggies, fruits, any type of meat, and like eggs, nuts and seeds, these type of foods. That makes me feel the best, because if I eat anything that has sugar in it, a lot of carbs in it, then I feel sluggish, I feel heavy, I don't feel good, you know, and just my energy crashes. So I don't like that feeling. I don't eat those foods. I prefer to stick with low carb diet. So what happened when I started doing this intermittent fasting is that it kicked me into ketosis, and my body started producing ketones. I measured my blood, and sure enough, I measured ketones, a lot of them. And so I started experimenting with the carbs, and I even tried to eat a lot more carbs. I would like load up on fruit, I would have like sweet potato or quinoa and stuff like that. And I noticed that I couldn't kick myself out of keto. So this makes me really, really happy, because in the past, whenever I was trying to be in keto, I couldn't even have a piece of fruit, because it would kick me out of keto like this. Now I can enjoy several pieces of fruit. I can enjoy even those sweet potatoes and quinoa and all this stuff. I don't have to be so strict with my diet, and I can give my body all of those nutrients from those carbs and all those carbs that my body and brain needs, while enjoying also the benefits of being in ketosis. This is what I've been looking for a really long time, so I'm super happy about it, and it really makes me feel like I can have my cake and eat it too. So let me tell you a little bit about the benefits of being in ketosis. So first of all, ketones are very beneficial for us, for our body, and play a huge role in anti-aging. because ketones are like bodyguards for our cells and genes. Imagine that your cells and genes have these lights, like light bulbs on them. And as you get older, these light bulbs have switches, and the switches get turned off. And so as we age, more and more of those light bulbs get turned off until there's no light anymore. So the ketones act as bodyguards for these light switches, so that these light switches don't get turned off, at least not so early. So ketones, when your body is producing ketones, when you're in the state of ketosis, you are preventing aging or premature aging of your body. Now, if you're an athlete or a home athlete, maybe you have heard that keto diet is not great for building muscles or building strength, and so you've been avoiding it. You don't have to avoid it anymore. There are new studies that show that athletes that have been on keto have been able to build muscles and build strength no different than the athletes that have been on the standard American diet. There's no difference. The only difference between them was the fact that the keto adapted people were leaner and they were putting on lean muscles without the extra fat. So I also have to share my own experience, because in the past I did experience strength loss when I was in keto. I wasn't fully adapted. I didn't realize that. I just thought that that was the side effect of being in keto. But this time around, combining that intermittent fasting with the keto, actually I wasn't even trying to be in keto, I just did the intermittent fasting, doing the Bulletproof Coffee, kicked me into keto and got me totally over the edge. Now that I'm fully adapted to keto, I'm building strength. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm building strength, because I know it. I know my body. There's no loss of strength. And keto is amazing at preventing muscle loss as well, because it doesn't take muscles and turn them into glucose. It only takes one amino acid called alanine, which doesn't have much purpose in your body apparently anyways. And it takes this amino acid and it turns it into glucose, so your muscles are actually spared. So before I wrap this up, I just wanted to give you a few more tips that will make the intermittent fasting better and easier for you. So this is a supplement that I take. It's called spermidine, and the spermidine is supposed to trigger autophagy even if you're not doing intermittent fasting. So that's a great supplement, but I like to combine it, and I like to combine intermittent fasting and the spermidine to get double benefits of the autophagy, so that it really works for me. The other thing that is worth mentioning is that you shouldn't jump into the intermittent fasting doing the 16 8-hour fast right away. I think it's much better if you start slowly with 12-hour fast and then progressively start adding those hours of not eating. Because what's going to happen if you're not used to this kind of lifestyle, what's going to happen is that you're going to be hungry, hangry, you're going to be watching the clock the whole time, and then eventually you're going to end up overeating, because you're just, you're just going to be uncomfortable the whole time. You're going to be hungry. So to prevent that, you just want to get yourself used to this slowly, progressively. And what can help you with that as well is this prebiotic fiber. You don't have to worry about this fiber kicking you out of the intermittent or breaking the intermittent fast. It's not going to happen. It's not going to break the fast. It's really good for your gut, and it mixes in water or any kind of beverage, and it doesn't clump up. It really dissolves pretty well. I don't put it in my coffee because actually that does change the taste of the coffee. It's gross. But I don't mind putting it into just a glass of water, because I don't really taste it in the water. It's really strange like that, but it works for me. And so if you use that prebiotic fiber, it's gonna fill you up. You're not gonna be hungry, you're not gonna be hangry, and it's just gonna help you. It's gonna be more pleasant, experience for you to do the fast like that. And you're adding more benefits to your health. You're really feeding your gut with good food. And the last thing I wanted to share with you guys is that I prefer to break my fast with a cup of good quality bone broth. Now, I don't do it every single day because some days I just don't have the option, but I just prefer that and I try to do that most of the time. So this is a bone broth that only has 3 ingredients. It has water, filtered water, and organic bones and organic carrots. So that's why I choose this kind of bone broth in the store. And you might think, well, that's kind of expensive. It costs like, I don't know, $6-7 in the store, and I typically have just half of it. So that's about $3 to $4, right? If you were to drink it every day, it might seem like it's expensive, but here's something to think about. Some people spend money on Starbucks coffee every single day. That's at least $6 a day. I don't do that. I prefer to spend my money on healthier things, and I would rather spend my money on a good quality cup of bone broth. So, you know, it's your choice. But I just like to do that because the bone broth is also good for my gut, and it's really good for my joints and my bones and my skin and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like on that empty stomach, when you feed the body with the good stuff, in my opinion, the body will absorb it better. It may not be true. I don't know. It's just my feeling about it, and it just makes me feel good when I do that. Take this information, take bits and pieces, and just realize that, you know, I do have great benefit. I did already reap amazing benefits from eating this way, but I cannot guarantee that this is going to work for you as well. Nobody can guarantee that. We're all, you know, bio individuals, and we just have to respect that. But feel free to try it. Maybe it's going to work for you. You know, I would be more than happy to hear your stories and your experiences with this. So feel free to share in the comments below. And don't forget that there is always a Z Gym for you waiting on my website, zuzkalight.com, where we can work out together every single day and really get into an amazing shape, no matter what diet you're on. So, guys, that's it for today, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.